is up, everyone? It is Jono87685 from The Gamer Guys, and this will be my new series on the channel. Due to the fact that I have very limited recording equipment and games I can use, I will be doing top 10s. And my first top 10 will be the top 10 weapons or moves, I guess I'd say, in video games and most recognizable arcade game, Ryu's Hadouken. Not only did Ryu give off a distinctive noise as he performed this move, it also became one of the best moves in the game as it was extremely hard to block or dodge. Moving on to one of the better sci-fi games and survival horror games of our time, Dead Space, and the signature weapon, the laser cutter. Not many things can make you feel safe in the dark, jump-scare heavy hallways of the USG Ishimura, but the laser cutter can, dismembering any necromorphs that get in your way to your girlfriend. One of the best RPGs in recent memory also had one of the most distinctive gameplay elements of all time. I'm of course talking of the Dovahkiin shouts in Skyrim. Nothing is more satisfying than fighting an enemy for a while and then just blowing him off the edge of a cliff, or freezing him, or calling a dragon, or calling a storm, or setting him on fire, or calling animals to kill him. And now another Bethesda game, Fallout New Vegas, more specifically the Fat Boy. In how many games can you shoot nukes out of a rocket launcher? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about that. Pretty awesome, isn't it? Now, one of my favourite games of all time, the first Ratchet & Clank. The weapon? The Rhino, affectionately referred to by fans of the series as Rip Ya a New One. This weapon sent out 6 rockets that seeked out any enemy and destroyed them. Pretty good. And now the only Easter egg weapon on this list, Mr. Toots from Red Faction Armageddon. You found Mr. Toots in Wonderland, and as you can see, Mr. Toots is a unicorn that shoots rainbows out of his ass, that disintegrates anything it touches. Now moving on to the main plot point of every Assassin's Creed game, the Apple of Eden. Now stabbing someone to kill them is pretty rewarding, but what is even more rewarding is turning someone's friend against them to make them stab them. Then that person will die confused and alone. Is that weird? Now, the Apple of Eden may be the major plot point of Assassin's Creed, but the Hidden Blade is the signature weapon, and for good reason. There's only one thing more satisfying than jumping off a rooftop and jumping on your foe and stabbing him in the throat, and that's the Apple of Eden. And we've already listed the Apple of Eden. This weapon is well known throughout the video game realm as being one of the most creative and awesome weapons in the world. Now moving on to one of the first ever big FPS games, Doom, and more specifically the biggest and best gun in Doom, the BFG 9000, known by fans as the Big Effin' Gun. As shown on screen, the BFG would eliminate every enemy on screen, leaving him a pile of organs and broken bones. Yummy. And now the triumphant number 1 of my list, the Master Sword, Zelda. This weapon has been the focal point of every Zelda game ever, and is one of the most famous weapons of all time. It is used to kill enemies and to banish Ganon from Hyrule to restore peace to this great land. And it's pretty cool. I would just like to thank everyone who has watched the first of hopefully many top 10s. Thank you, and I'll see you later.